Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Azabi here, back again with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, episode 9 we're on to now. And in the last episode, we entered the 5th laboratory, which was a sort of desolate, abandoned laboratory that sits next to the prison in Central, which Edward figured out that that's where they are creating these Philosopher's Stones by, you know, essentially sacrificing human bodies. However, when we got there, we realised that there was these convicts that were no longer of, you know, I suppose the human representation, but instead, just like Alphonse, were transmuted? I think it would be transmuted, wouldn't it? into their souls into suits of armour. And yeah, there was only 2 there, which is interesting. It just makes me wonder what happened to the other ones, because I feel like there wouldn't just be 2, you know, sacrifices. I mean, they did talk about how when it comes to Philosopher's Stones, you're talking about multiple, you're talking about multiple humans that are needed in order to create just one. So, you know, I wonder where the other ones were. I feel like they would have come across them, like, at some point while they were there, but I don't know. It may be just a thing of, like, you know, if you have those that are being offered to be kept alive, right, like, because obviously they're giving up their bodies in this whole thing, maybe only those 2 wanted to be, you know, to stay alive, and every other convict was just like, ah, fuck it, just get it over with. Who knows? I don't really think it matters that much. I don't think we're going to get answers to that anyway, so, you know, we'll see going forward. But yes, so we had our first sort of meeting with Ed and the terrorist group, is what I'm calling them, in specifically Envy. I know that Lust, if that is her name again, I know that she was there, but Envy, you know, essentially got up in his face, kneed him in the stomach after Ed tried to attack him back. And they mentioned again that he is a precious resource, an important sacrifice, which obviously made me talk about how I don't know if there's a thing in this universe of one soul being more valuable than another, depending on how they've lived their life. I don't know, but you would think that it must have some intrinsic value on it if they're keeping him alive, specifically him, because otherwise, then why do you need him for? You know, it could be, like, I don't know, to make an example out of, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that was one thing. Another thing as well was Kimberly, which I believe I wrote down this when I was actually editing the episode, so I didn't talk about it in the episode. But Kimberly actually said that he recalls the Ishvalan War of Extermination. So, with that being said, seeing as I think that Kimberly is obviously in on this terrorist group, that the other 2 may have been a part of that as well, though they do look younger, but I don't know their exact age or anything like that. But with Kimberly obviously being involved in that Ishvalan war, you know, he's clearly, like a lot of other people, are not happy about the way that it went down. Whether or not he was obviously on the, I don't know, central side, the government side of, you know, and not on actually in Ishvala, which I don't think he is, because I don't think he has that complexion or the red eyes, so I don't think he's like a part of those. But still, he could have been, you know, a part of the military and not have been happy about the way that it went down or anything like that. So yeah, interesting. Other than that, I think we ended off with Alphonse still, you know, holding that thought in his head of, is he a puppet or anything like that, because Ed didn't finish his sentence that one time earlier in the episode. You know, so I don't know if that'll be resolved this episode. I guess we'll just have to find out. So yes, there's nothing else to really talk about, so we're just going to get straight in episode 9 and see what we get. There's also a link to the full length reaction if you want to watch that in full and not just the 10-minute cut version, then the offer is there for you. But yes, nothing else to really talk about, so let's get into episode 9 and see what we get. Let's go. Creative fields. Yeah, they're probably going to resolve
Looks
this
like you
episode.
can sit up now, huh?
Fullmetal Alchemist, sir!
Hmm?
We do apologize in advance for this!
Huh?
Ah!
You acted like a selfish child. You don't have to do everything all on your own, you know. You can lean on other people. Not all adults are the enemy. You can trust us.
I don't think it's a matter of trust.
Please forgive our abusive words and conduct, sir!
No, you're right. I should be apologizing.
My punishment?
Nothing, I had it coming. What's got you two so scared of me?
State-certified alchemists carry a military rank equivalent to that of a major.
Don't worry about it. I didn't get my certification so people would kiss up to me.
I guess we were scared of the brat for nothing.
They adjust quickly.
Oh, Ed, since when do you ever bother to call us? Is something wrong?
Yeah, here's the deal. I hate to ask you, but do you think you could make a service call out to Central for me?
She's the one that
My right arm's
forgot to put the
messed
bullet
up
in,
again.
right? So
I can move the fingers, but that's about it. I can't lift the arm at all.
So, what were you doing when the arm stopped working?
is it the middle of a fight?
I was in a really rough fight.
You did it again, moron! How could you treat my precious auto man like that, alchemy freak? Tell me how to get there.
Has she
thought you were going
never
to-
left?
You know what? Never mind.
Resin Bull?
Forget it.
Aw, was that your girlfriend?
My girlfriend! No way!
Where was he bleeding from there?
Embarrassed about?
What are you doing? Sitting there in the dark by yourself? Hey, Al!
Brother,
You know you can come to the room, right?
I'll be there in a little while. You go on ahead.
Okay.
Come on, Al. You don't actually believe what that guy told you, do you? That was really, really inconvenient timing. You know what I mean?
To look near the west exit, there'd be someone familiar there who would recognize right away.
He just sticks out like a sore thumb. Thumb?
Hello, Miss Winry. Did you have a pleasant trip?
The hospital? What happened?
Well, that didn't take long. You're gonna charge me an express service fee now, aren't you?
No, I won't charge you for this. I didn't do a good enough job on your auto mail last time.
I might feel responsible here because she forgot to put the bolt in.
It's not your fault. You can't blame yourself for this. I broke it because I was being reckless.
You didn't drink your milk.
Why should I? I hate it.
You're going to be
Doesn't
spoiled
like
and
milk.
stunted forever if you keep using that stupid excuse!
Sound like a spoiled little brat, Edward Alric!
Every growing boy needs his milk.
Yeah, you want the girls to like you, don't you?
Was that Al? I don't get it. Al's been acting really weird lately.
Weird how?
Just seems like something's been bothering him.
Maybe Ed just needs to tell him what he wanted to tell him last episode. I know he's still a kid, but come on, you can't trust that fucking
Well done.
murdering psychopath
Feels
over your
good to have
brother,
it
dude.
back. Wow, thanks a lot.
Yo, Ed, my boy! Is it true you brought a pretty blonde girl into your room to service you?
He's my auto mail mechanic. That's
Oh,
all.
right.
Nothing more.
That's where he was bleeding from
I
before.
see. You've seduced your mechanic, have you? Maze Hughes, I'm pleased to meet you, young lady.
You too, I'm Winry Rockbell.
I just found out you and Al shouldn't need to be kept under guard for too much longer.
Great.
What'd you say? Hold on just a second. How much trouble have you gotten yourself into this time?
Well, it's nothing that concerns you.
Of course not. I don't know why I bother to try. It's not like you'll talk to me anyway. I have to go and see if I can find some place to stay tonight.
Come on, no need for that. Why don't you spend the night at my place?
Happy birthday, Alicia!
Oh, that's her birthday as well.
Today happens to be my darling little Alicia's birthday!
Get rid of it.
That's exciting. How old are you now, Alicia?
I'm 2. No, I'm 3.
Oh, God.
Fullmetal Alchemist.
Grew up together. They're like my brothers.
And I'm sure knowing those two, they must give you plenty to worry about.
When they finally came back for a visit, it was because Ed's arm was all busted up. And now he calls me out here because he's been seriously injured again. Something's bothering Al, too. They don't ever tell me what's going on.
You know these boys, Winry. It's possible they thought you'd understand without them saying anything.
But there are some things that I actually need to be told.
In general, men prefer to let their actions speak instead of words. When they're in pain, they don't want to burden anyone with it. Not if they can help it. they don't want anyone to worry about them. That's how they are.
He could be feeling the same
And when they
way,
do, I know that you'll be there for them.
or has in the past.
Isn't that enough?
Hey, you get away from her. Alicia wants to play with me, not you. Huh? No way.
God.
She's quite the heartbreaker already, isn't she?
She picked me. Come on, leave me alone.
Fucking hell.
Listen up, boys. You try anything with my daughter.
Always the same with a father and daughter, isn't it?
Alicia's gotten very attached to you.
Well, would you look at that? The two of you could be sisters.
Sissy! Be safe, okay?
It's settled. You're staying with us again tonight.
It looks like I found myself a little sister.
It didn't take much, did it?
So we meet again, you little bastard. I'm not gonna drink you.
Brother, you have a living body that needs nourishment.
It may not look like it, but I have grown some. But everyone still calls me a pipsqueak. I wish I was like you, Al. You've got such a big body now.
It's not like I asked for this body, brother!
Sorry. You're right. I'll get you back into your real body. You'll see, Al.
That's what you always say, but you don't know that for sure!
Look, I promise I'm gonna get you back.
How am I supposed to believe anything when I'm stuck in this body? What should I believe in, my memories? Memories are just scraps of information that can be made up as easily as anything else.
Al, what are you talking about?
Maybe you wanted to say that my soul and my memories are really artificial constructions you created.
I really highly doubt that.
You, Winry and Granny, you've been lying to me all along, haven't you? What do you have to say for yourself, brother?
What's he going on around? Like, why is he believing this
You really
dude?
think if you believed that all this time, so are you finished? Or is there more you wanted to say?
Al was like really. I get that he obviously doesn't like the fact that he doesn't have a. God. I get the fact that he doesn't like the fact that he doesn't have a human body, but I mean, he's just taking it way too far, especially from some guy that he doesn't even know, you know?
You have no idea how Ed feels! Do you know what he was so afraid to talk to you about? He wants to know if you blame him for what happened to your body, Al!
It's all my fault. Al lost his body and it's all my fault. How could he ever forgive me?
Al isn't the type of boy who would resent you for this.
I'm too scared of what he'll say.
Who would ever do something like that? Who would be prepared to risk his own life to create a fake brother? Do you get it? All the two of you have left is each other.
You know something, Al? We haven't had a good fight in a while. I'm starting to get flabby.
Huh? Hey! Hold on, brother!
Release some of the tension a bit. It's smart.
I beat you! The first time I ever won. Now that I think about it, we fought over some really stupid things, haven't we?
Definitely. Like who would get the top and bottom bunks?
Yeah.
We fought over candy a lot too, huh?
And that toy, you remember?
And that fight we had during our training?
Teacher said we were being too loud, then she beat us up herself. Why don't we call that one a draw?
We even fought over which one of us would marry Winry someday.
What? I don't remember that one.
I won the fight, but she shot me down.
Oh.
Okay.
You're telling me that all those memories are lies?
Sorry.
And your determination to be whole again, to get your body back no matter what, that's a lie too?
No, it's not a lie.
That's right. We're in this together all the way.
And the milk?
Milk? Fine, I'll drink a little.
Maybe you don't have to hear something out loud, but it sure is helpful sometimes.
I guess it is.
I like how that one came back around, actually. I wasn't expecting that to come back around that way. I thought it was just that Hughes realised that that's what guys are kind of like. They bottle up like feelings a lot of the time, and
They're gone. All gone.
Hey!
Kimberly?
Oh my, where are my manners? I should have introduced myself. I'm a state alchemist sent here by the military. I've been sent to exterminate this sector.
Hey, you're awake.
He's back in his father.
Where am I?
In a slum outside of East City. You're among friends now.
Oh, okay.
Are we the only ones here? Are there other Ishvalan survivors?
Yes, indeed there are. A rundown slum such as this may bear no resemblance to our ancestral home. But you know what they say. The world is God's bosom.
My right arm, did I lose it or is it still with me?
Yeah, it's still there, mister. It should be fine.
You can barely even feel it.
Your tattoo. It's really amazing.
It's important to me.
A
precious gift from my family.
See, is it like something that's like passed down generationally kind of thing? Okay, episode 9, Created Feelings. Yeah, that was a really like good, I suppose. I guess to tie us into the next sort of episodes. I've had like a few episodes like this, generally spread throughout other shows and everything, where it's like if you come to an end of a sort of like a, well, not even a mini arc, but the fact is that because obviously in the last episode or the last couple of episodes we dealt with going to the prison and everything like that and the big fight, and then having to basically have sort of like an off episode where they can heal up and everything like that. It's sort of like a self-contained episode that delved a lot into characters, which I really like, and I think it was a nice self-contained episode about how because I think it's a good sort of life lesson episode as well, about like not just keeping things like bottled up inside, just because sometimes it feels better to just get it out in the open, because then it's everyone knows what's going on, everyone knows and can try and empathize or understand. But yeah, I mean, I did start. I'm glad that it was resolved in this episode. I mean, that was the one thing I said in the pre-discussion was like, well, I said I didn't know if it was going to be resolved in this episode, but that I'm glad that it did, and it didn't linger too long, because the last thing I want to be doing is, getting agitated with how a character is behaving in a way. Normally that wouldn't be a problem if, there was some real reasoning behind it. I mean, there is still like sort of real reasoning behind the way that Alphonse is feeling the way that he is feeling, but the fact is that because he's, it's like, if you want to talk about sort of manufactured, created feelings or created thoughts, look at Chopper. You know what I mean? That is his name, wasn't it? Yeah, it is. Look at him. He literally just manufactured this whole thing of being a puppet, and that you're not actually real, and your memories are never happened. It's fabricated. Like that, what he was saying there was fabricated. You know what I mean? That was fabrication. I did give him the benefit of the doubt throughout the episode by, at points basically saying like, I know that he's still a kid. Of course, he is the one that doesn't have a body, so it's got to be infuriating for him as well. But that's the thing, I think, because he spent a lot of that time just in that dark and dingy hallway with nothing but his thoughts, just means that he's basically just suffering in silence, and it's like he's convincing himself that it's real at that point, because he's not talking to anyone about it. He's not getting any other side of a story. He's just basically sitting there with these thoughts going through his head, and it's like all these manufactured things that Chopper brought to him has suddenly become real. But I mean, like, on the other side, it's like, if you're seeing it from Ed's perspective, it's like he's the one that feels the most responsible, because at least he has a body. You know what I mean? At least he's a human at this point. And so having that sort of pressure in him is the idea that not only has, you know, he's basically destroyed his brother's body, even though his brother was in on it as well. But you've got to remember as well is that Ed is the older brother, and so there's always that responsibility that comes with it as well. You know, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like Ed. It's interesting how from one character to another, each person was keeping their feelings sort of in. So, you know, like the likelihood of, you know, Ed not telling Winry about certain things and Al not telling Ed about certain things, it's like they're all left out with a loop in this chain. You know, and even to the point of like where Winry was staying with Hughes, I thought that when Hughes was giving up that sort of that thing of guys are just like that and they keep their feelings bottled up, that it was something that he was saying like as a sort of like a way to get across that he also deals with that stuff, and I guarantee that he has in the past. But I do wonder if there is still something there that lingers currently with Hughes, because he is that comic relief character. And a lot of the time I feel like a comic relief character, it depends on how they do them, but a comic relief character can really be a very strong character if there are like sort of actual, if there's actually some development happening with that character or strong undertones behind that comic relief, because there's got to be a reason as to why he is so sort of out and upfront, very happy and light-hearted and everything like that. But I mean, the last episode when he was talking to Mustang on the phone, and he's talking about how, you know, you get that promotion, you're gonna make enemies and everything, and I think he said something along the lines of "take it from somebody who knows," meaning that I'm guessing him. You know, but like it wouldn't surprise me if he was has dealt with his own shit or is dealing with his own shit, and he is projecting this sort of this happy, friendly image that he that's what he wants people to see. He doesn't want to bring people into his you know, like his problems and everything like that. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. You know, I think in other shows you could say you could just basically say that Hughes would have been a comic relief character and that is it. But in a show like this that is well written, I feel like there will be more with Hughes. So, you know, I'm happy to get into that if they so desire. So yeah, I mean, Al basically took it way too far. But you know, like I said, I'm glad that it's been resolved. You know, really quickly. In the space of an episode, because it just didn't need it. So yeah. Other than that, we had Winry, who obviously left Rezenbull, which I believe the way that she was talking about it feels like she's never left Rezenbull before, ever. And I don't know if there's any reasons for that, if it's like, if she just, I don't know, like got this sort of, I wonder if there was a feeling that she just never wanted to leave Rezenbull, because when people leave Rezenbull, they get hurt. And obviously, her parents being one of the big ones. I feel like maybe there is just like that sort of just subconscious like thing just to not to leave Rezenbull. Or if she's one of those people that just feels like she, you know, that never really leave their hometown a lot, and just likes to feel, you know, cozy at sort of home, and not that they don't feel the need to travel. But you know, either way, she did come out. I mean, that's the thing, is like, I don't know if because I could say it both ways, and it could be a fact of like Winry's never left Rezenbull, but then again, if she needs to do these like sort of orders, I guess, where she does have to go out, then maybe that is a thing. But apparently she's never been to Central before, because she doesn't know her way around there. Or she could have been like once maybe before, and it's just a case of she just still doesn't know her way around. You know, but yeah, anyway. Other than that, we had the Ishvalan stuff. So Scar is still alive. I figured that he would be. I mean, when there's no body and everything, and you don't see exactly what happened, the likelihood is that they're going to turn back up again. But he was brought in to the slums outside of East City, where there is at least a couple of Ishvalans hanging out, which is interesting. It kind of gives me that sort of feeling of... I mean, I'm watching Ghost in the Shell at the minute, and there's obviously this whole sort of story thing going on. These story beats of like a refugee district is essentially like what happened after a war, and you know, like there's obviously these refugees. That's their sort of area, and in a lot of ways you can just compare it to kind of slums, because they live in areas that like of the city that has been completely sort of destroyed, and it's kind of abandoned in a lot of places. But yeah, so similarly, this has given me like that same sort of vibe, though I don't know exactly how many Ishvalans are actually really hanging out here, because I mean, I would have to assume that it's quite dangerous. I mean, I don't know exactly how Ishvala is doing now. I don't think they went into like how it's doing now. I don't know if it was completely overtaken or what. You know, but I guess they I don't know. I guess it's just that they don't want to move out of these slums because they're afraid of getting caught, maybe, and maybe the military or anything like that don't actually go through the slums. I'd be interested to know exactly how far out of East City it actually is, you know, but yeah, he's still alive anyway, and he was obviously talking about the tattoos on his right arm, which he said they were a gift from his family, so I figure it's a way to identify what family he is from. You know, I think if what kind of popped in my head when he had that, when he revealed that was like a gift from his family and everything like that, was just a tattoo sleeve, is kind of similar to like Samoa in a way, because I think it's Samoan people have these, you know, they're really like into their tattoos and stuff like that, and it's one of their things of like, you know, their history is like, you know, tattoos are really big, like, you know, they're symbolic and everything like that about your lineage and everything. So I feel like maybe that's kind of like the similar feeling I was getting from it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, we had a little sort of flashback, which I'm guessing is a flashback. It was more like a dream of what Scar was saying, but I'm guessing it was something that actually did happen. So it was Kimberly, really, wasn't it? So it's interesting. They know each other. So going forward, that'll be interesting if they do meet up again. I assume that Scar's not going to be very, very happy about that. But I was talking last episode... I was talking in the pre-discussion for this episode about how, you know, Kimberly was talking about he was recalling the Ishvalan War of extermination, right? And I was thinking that maybe there is something with Kimberly basically hating the, you know, like the military and everything for it, but it seems as though from that little flashback that Kimberly was actually happy to destroy Ishvala, almost like he got like, you know, like the chains were kind of cut off on him and he was able to just go crazy, kind of, in a way. Like, that's the kind of vibe that he gave off right there, where it seems as though he's just happy to do this because he wants to create chaos, which I guess in a way makes sense for that terrorist group that he's most likely involved with. You know, because envy and lust and whatnot, we're talking about that before when they were I think it was the episode where we met Envy, and he was you know, playing up the character of being Father Cornello, right? And there was just chaos in the streets of Leo, I believe the town name is, and they were just like, they were happy to do that. And again, you know, I've said it before, but I am interested to see exactly where their motives come from. Lust, if that is her name, keeps talking about. I think she's talked about her father. Or she calls whoever this person is father. I think twice she said that, and I believe that's someone that we just haven't met yet. But it'll be interesting if we get a scene with him. Like, surely, I don't know how likely that is. You know what I mean? Because we don't spend a lot of time with this terrorist group really at all. You know, they come back and forth every so often, but I guess we don't get a lot of in-depth dialogue with them. It's very kind of like a bit vague at times. So yeah, be interesting. We'll have to wait and see where that goes, and if it comes anytime soon. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I've got for that episode. Like I said, it was a good little self-contained episode with a nice little life lesson involved in there and a bit of character development to go along with it. So yeah, really, really cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for episode 9. So thank you everyone for watching. Episode 10 will come out the same day as this, but if you want to get access to episode 11 and 12 right now, you can do by going over to my Patreon and becoming an early access tier patron. That'll give you access to shows a week early. It's $5 a month. There's also the full-length tier if you want to watch any of my reactions in full and not just the 10-minute cut version. And then there is the exclusive tier if you want to watch any of my reactions to movies and things like that, which is coming up very soon, so keep an eye out for that. But that is all I've got, so thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.